ZeniMax Online Studios have announced their 2020 content plan, new dungeons, a new trial, revamping the vampire skill line, and the much anticipated return to Skyrim. On top of this, we're getting a new and exciting system called Antiquities. This is an entirely new system for ESO, and I'm pretty excited for it. It's time to channel your inner Indiana Jones and dig into what this new system entails. Let's go. The official post on the ESO website tells us a little bit about how the system will work. This in-game activity allows you to uncover lost artifacts scattered across Tamriel as an up-and-coming archaeologist. You can scry the locations of ancient relics and excavate them via a series of new minigames. During the global reveal event, Rich Lambert spoke about this system, giving us some extra detail as well. The minigames will be based around the two new activities, which both have their own new skill lines to progress. The first is scrying. Scrying will be the process of identifying the location of the artifact you're looking for. And the second, which is in line with this, will be excavation. Once you've found the location of the item you're looking for, you'll have to head to the dig site, pull out your trusty shovel, and start digging. Both of these skill lines will be non-combat focused, and we don't really know much about these specific skills for each of the lines, but what I imagine is that they're going to be passive buffs based around scrying or excavation to make the process faster and easier and increase your chances of better rewards for the excavation process. Speaking of rewards, there are significant benefits for all types of players using this system. Lore seekers can look forward to learning about the histories of Tamriel from before the events of ESO. ESO is set in the second era of Tamriel, with many important historical events happening before the events of the game itself. Before the events in the first era of Tamriel, we've got things like the first empire forming in Cyrodiil, the disappearance of the Dwemer, the first dragons appearing and being slain in Skyrim, and the formation of many of the guilds we see in the Elder Scrolls games, like the Fighters Guild, the Mages Guild, and the Dark Brotherhood. And I think this is going to be really exciting for lore seekers because a lot of the mainline Elder Scrolls games are set like many years after the events of Elder Scrolls Online. Elder Scrolls Online is first in the timeline, and it'll be really exciting to learn more about the history that you see in all the Elder Scrolls games, like the Dwemer and the dragons and the guilds and everything. I think what we definitely have a really high chance of seeing is what happened to the Dwemer, or just little tidbits of information about them, as well as the first dragons in Skyrim, considering we are returning to Skyrim and dragons were a big focus in the last chapter as well. I would expect the lore books and artifacts that you find to really come into these events, and so we can learn more about the past. There are more tangible rewards for this system as well. PvP players can expect a new siege weapon to try and unearth. There is a unique mount which is exclusive to this system as well, which was shown at the event, new personalities, emotes, outfits, costumes, housing items, and I think the most interesting new addition, for me at least anyway, is the addition of the Mythic gear. Mythic gear is a CP 160 gear only and is a new unique gold level gear. You can only wear one at a time and each have their own unique properties. The examples given during the global reveal event was like a piece of jewelry that increases your movement speed by 10% in combat and 20% out of combat, or a heavy chest which when you block you restore magicka. In a recent GameSpace interview with Rich Lambert, which I'll have linked in the comments below, Rich mentioned that you actually have to level your way through the Antiquities skill lines and put skill points into there in order to even unlock the ability to find these mythic pieces at the quality of Antiquity. So as a player, you've got to spend time progressing through the skill lines before you can actually get the mythic gear. How important this gear will be for the meta builds, we don't really know at this stage, or at least until the update comes out on the PTS and people can actually test the gear at that time. Just in speculation, I think it might actually create more variation in the higher tier builds if the different passive buffs that the gear give you aren't very specific to builds, such as like the movement speed buff, for example. You might be able to pick and choose which kind of buff you would like whether it's speed or that magicka gain, that kind of thing. Rich Lambert briefly mentioned on K-Pow's stream at the event that there is currently 12 mythic items and they are all armor pieces. They don't have any weapons planned at this stage. This may change obviously as we are still a long way away from launch. So if there is 12 currently, maybe we get 3 pieces of light, medium and heavy armor each, and there may be some rings and necklaces, that kind of thing. I think the focus on armor is the right direction here, as armor is often more flexible in terms of how you want to build out your build compared to specific weapons where they need to be more direct in, you know, that we've got a broad amount of weapons and you want stamina or magicka, that kind of thing. I did touch on it before, but you can only wear one at a time, so it shouldn't affect a lot of those bigger sets that you wear at the high tier of gameplay. The focus of this new system is really to add more to what the player can do outside of questing and combat encounters, which is actually really rare for an RPG, even rarer for an MMO really. I think it's a fantastic concept to add more activities, you know, so if you finished all the major quests in a zone and you don't really want to do any of the group content, there isn't really heaps heaps left for you to do other than the typical crafting and fishing. I think this new replayable system, which sounds like it has a satisfying loop, you know, you scry the item, you find the dig site, you unearth your rewards, rinse, repeat, there's a bit of progression in the skill lines. It seems like it's worthwhile, and especially if you put the time into it and you increase your chances of getting those better rewards, I think it'll be good for all kinds of players. The last couple of expansions had like a collectibles hunt in their zones, like elsewhere there were these tablets to collect, and Somerset there were those relics. This new system reminds me a little bit of those collectibles which you're trying to achieve, but on a much grander scale and more worthwhile, with all the rewards and new gear to increase engagement for all types of players, whether it's PvP, PvE, solo or group. Maybe you're a solo player and you typically stop playing ESO after you completed the main story in the new chapter zones. Well, this system adds another activity for you to do, and I think it's going to be really valuable. They've said that they're going to continue to expand on this system with the future content releases. My hope is that we get hours of extra content and worthwhile rewards, like more mythic gear with all of the new content releases, that kind of thing. Keep us engaged for a long time rather than this just being for the Greymore expansion. Let me know in the comments below what you're excited for with this upcoming year of content in ESO. Is it the dungeon packs, returning to Skyrim, the Antiquities system? Let me know below. I try and respond to every comment, so let's get a conversation going. That's all from me today. Thank you for watching. My name is NorZZa, and have a great day.